Hello, my friends. How are you? This is Chin Hong here. It's been a while. How have you been? For me, I have been very busy in the past few months. Life on the mountain farm is both amazing and challenging, and we always got so much to do. But the good news is that we have accomplished a lot. So while raising new babies on the farm, we also finished our farmhouse renovation with our own hands, and we are really proud of that. And I also started to teach watercolor locally in our little mountain community, and it has been so incredibly wonderful. And with all that, I feel like I can finally call this place my new home and now spend more time back in the studio and create watercolor. And today I want to share with you how to paint a gnome. And I taught this at one of my Zoom classes. And here is the recording. It's a full process with narrations. And I hope you enjoy it. I will see you soon. Okay, let me show you first this little gnome that I did. And notice the colors, how I engage a lot of family and friends everywhere. All right, so let's start by painting the nose first. That's a center point, so I want to start with that. And I use a mixture of pink and orange to make that creamy skin tone. And here, note very importantly, I leave out this highlight of the nose first, like a round circle. And the tip is the bigger the highlight you leave out, the better, because you're going to zoom in on it. You're going to lose some portion. So leave a big highlight. So that's my first base. Then I'm going to drop in colors. So I dropped in some pink and reddish color right next to the highlight. Just drop in there. Don't let it go everywhere. And then here, use clear water on my brush. I sweep out some color, and that gives a very natural effect on the reflective light on the nose. And then I drop in some blue, purplish blue color on the shade of that nose. And if I see the colors being washed out, I just drop in more intense colors to intensify it. Yeah, that's basically how you do. I'll pause here for a moment. So I'll let you do the nose. Come back a little more. So, okay, if your nose is complete, ready, just nod. And then we can go to the next. Or I can see when you all look up, I know you're finished. Okay, so next, we're going to paint the head. So for the head, I used the red color on my palette to have, because the head is actually a biggest part of this. Oh, I'm still working on my nose here on my lid. But anyhow, for the head is the biggest part of this painting. So you want to make a lot of pigment and water on your brush. Yeah, bring up a lot of water and pigment, red pigment, into your brush and put it on your paper. So I'm painting and following the shape of the shade. So take a look, my dear artist. I'm not painting the entire head, but I'm following the shape of the shade on my head, on my gnome's head. See that? That is very important. Yes. So I'm leaving out the highlight area of the head, but only painting the shaded area of the head. And that will give a very beautiful and natural, highlighted, light bleached effect. And I'm going to soften it later, but first, the shaded area. And now with that, we can drop in more colors. So for me, I like to play with the edge. So some I will soften some edges so it has more lively effect. But if you are a beginner, don't worry about your edges. So if you are more experienced, pay attention to your edges. Some are hard edges, some are softened. So now I'm ready to drop in some orange color, just like what we did in the warm-up. So that's my right side friend. So some orange. And now I'm having a darker color, more purplish red. So that's again my friend on the other side, the shadow side. And to strengthen where I see darker on my head, on my gnome's head. So I drop in this color to strengthen it. So now I come in to soften, to put in a little bit of color on the area I left out. So it's not so completely white. Yeah, and see now it comes with a quite a natural lighted effect. And also interesting point is I'm not painting inside my lines. I'm just painting all around it. So that gives you also the liveliness. It's more careless, more natural and alive. And in the end, we're going to add beautiful lines to bring back all these free flow things. So you can afford. So that's actually one of the great tips I want to give to flow out more is to don't paint inside your lines, paint across it or not inside. I mean, away from it and see what happens. Okay, now I'm putting in some really dark little detail with a really tiny pointed brush with less water and lot pigment to put in just give it some pop of the colors and some more of the depth of the colors. I'm putting all this very dark purple around this sign this gnome is holding so that the sign will come out, come forward. And same with the edge of the head, I'm putting down dark purple. So that's where the structurally, this is really important for the gnome, the head and how it connects with the face. Okay, I think that's about the head. And I'm going to pause here, see how is everyone doing. Are we all finished with the head? If yes, nod your head. Yes, okay, good. All right, so let's move on. So next, I am going to start to paint the beard. I think, oh, I'm sorry, I did the hand. Okay, so basically use a creamy color similar to my nose. I just put a hand on it. And here, look up, ladies and gentlemen. And here's my point. See how my color are not following my lines, but I leave spots of white of the paper. That's what gives the lightness and a natural highlight. So that's a great tip. Okay. All right. Now we'll continue on. So again, with the base color, I just then drop in some purple, blue to give it some shade. All right, so next I'm coming to paint the beard. So here is the color I'm going to use for my beard. I did is some ultramarine blue and mixed with a little bit of violet. So that's more have a subtleness. It's not just a very crisp blue, but you know, I just love this purplish blue. It's such a beautiful color for the shade. And for painting the beard, actually, because it is a white subject, white object, what we can paint is truly just its shade. See, to paint a white subject like the beard, what we're truly painting are the shade, are the shapes of the shade. So see, I'm following the shape of the shade of the beard. And where I see are the shade, I just put on this blue purplish color on it. Okay, I have my shade of the beard here. So next this is not where I want to bring a lot of colors. So I just darken it where I see really dark colors of the beard. I put in more pigment on my brush, more bluish purple colors, and then just darken it. There's less water on my brush now, so the colors can stay. So next, I use this fine brush to just add on some really fine lines for the beard. Give it a little bit texture. But don't overdo it. The more hair you put on it, the more it will become more spiky. And you know the beard, especially this gnome, is now spiky. It's soft and fuzzy. So make sure I can easily get carried away putting a lot of hair on it. But try to bring yourself back. Just a few strokes of this darkness will be enough. Okay, I will give you time to do your beard. How are we doing? Good, nice. All right, so are we ready to move on to the next? If yes, or if you need more time, yes, okay, great. So next, actually the beard are hard. So if your beard is not working out, don't worry, try it again. If it's working out, that's great. So next I move on to my shoes. So this point, when I was doing my little watercolor play, I was thinking to do purple. But right now I noticed that because my beard becomes more purplish, I decided not to do a purple, but a turquoise blue. So it lights up the energy, the spirit of this gnome. If I use too dark, then it's probably too heavy. So yeah, turquoise blue is a great color to lighten things up. So this is what I did here for the shoes. And again, after the turquoise blue, I start to drop in some yellow and other colors to make it happy. And for the shade, I used the ultramarine blue. All right. So next, I'm going to paint the shade of the gnome. And that's where in the reference, you see all dark. But for me, I see this a wonderful place. I can play with all the colors. So what I like to do is I make a base color of purplish green, a purplish blue, sorry, and then start to drop in the colors of the object, the subject, and to create this color harmony. So this is what I just did. And where the subject, the object connects to the ground is actually the darkest. So now I use really dark violet color mixed with a little bit of the burnt umber. And I'm putting in the dark where the beard and the shoes connect with the ground. So it has this more of grounding. So this is where we want the heaviness. So the gnome sits on the floor, on the ground. Then once I got the dark, the right dark, I just drop in some colors from the gnome, like the orange, red, and turquoise blue. So it has this vibrance, this resonance with the subject. And I'm just getting a little bit more, strengthen the beard a little bit. So it connects with the color on the ground. So here's whenever I introduce a new color, I want to have some resonance elsewhere. So once I got this new, for example, this purple color for the shadow, I put it in some on the beard, so it connects. So that's when we talk about the flow. The flow is where you have connection. There is a flow. So all this is creating the connection. Then your flow naturally happens. Okay, let me hold on here. I'm start to add some little grass just on the ground. So how are we doing? We're doing fine. I see you guys are painting along. Okay, I'll continue. So I use let me actually back off for a moment. What I did here, if you didn't get that part. So to create some really simple and effective grass, I used a round brush, but I flattened the tip of the brush. So it becomes this irregular but natural kind of texture when you put it on the floor, on the paper. So here is, I come again, flatten the tip of the round brush, and then pick up your pigment and glide very quickly on your paper. See? I'm flattening here. Yes, there you go. And you have some really relaxed grass happening. And again, bring somebody that's greener, bluer to add that vibrance and needed darkness. So with red, I'm adding some little flower. Okay, so let me hold on here for a moment. So right here, I really like the casualness of the flowers, and I want to bring that kind of vibrance and fun to the gnome. And I do that very effectively if I spatter. So this is what I did. I spattered some yellow, and yellow is a great color if you want to brighten up a painting. So I spattered some yellow, and also look at this painting right now. It has red, it has blue. It doesn't have a lot of yellow, but you don't want to have an equal portion of yellow, but just some pops of yellow. So that will complete the color wheel actually. And so that's why I'm spattering some yellow, and that instantly lighten it up and makes more fun. That's where my spatter is. Okay, so here is where I am so far. I'll pause for a moment for you to catch up or do whatever you want to do. So we're almost there. Yeah, so next what we only need to do is for the little sign. So for the sign, you can, after you paint the sign, you can put on whatever words or symbols on it. So I put a heart on it. Okay, so if we're ready, I'm painting the sign. So for the sign, I just basically use a burnt sienna and burnt amber and mix with a little bit of ultramarine blue to have this kind of natural wood kind of color. So notice I'm softening some of the edges with the water. And if you are more advanced, I'm like Sarah, notice if you are softening your edges as you are painting. That's a good tip. Yeah, you don't have to put your edge, the boundary of your subject all the way around, but leave some, keep some edge and lose some edge, and that will instantly give you a very lively effect. Because in real life, there's nothing truly static having the boundary right there all the time. It's always wavering, so you can lose some edge. All right. Okay, let me hold on here for a moment. So basically what I have done is the most painting is done here and it's coming for the final touches. So for the final touches, what I want to do is just like what I did for the sign here. And I'm going to add some pops, meaning a little strengthened colors to give it a more of a weight, just a little bit, because we're painting a really airy and magical being. It doesn't carry a lot of weight, but a little bit bring it back onto the earth. Yeah, so I'm going to, for my each subject, we just painted like the head, the nose, and the hands and shoes. I'm going to use a really intense, little bit of intense color to strengthen that object basically putting it where the boundary is. And if you have a lot of fluid color flow, this is where you can bring back all that free-flowing energy and give it more of the anchoring. Okay, so I use a very pointed brush and use strong, a little bit cold red color, and just very selectively paint somewhere. And this is really personal. And for me, I like to have this more airy feel, so I have less dark color on my painting. But feel for yourself. If you feel you want more of definition or grounding, weight, choose for yourself. Just experiment and follow your heart. That's always the best. So yeah, so I'm coming in with really the most important features where I want the eyes to see the most important features. I'm adding all this contrast right now. And I'm also trying to add a little bit of texture. And I'm not following the texture of my reference photo entirely. I feel more like a fuzzy hat. That's what I'm giving it, a soft and fuzzy hat. So now I'm dropping in some yellow colors. And again, that's where you can instantly brighten up your painting by dropping in a little yellow color. But still not overdo it. Know that your primary colors for me are now reddish and bluish colors. So I don't want equal weight of all the three primary colors. So now I'm adding some outline from the nose. And notice that I'm losing some edge. So I'm not circling the whole nose out. That's going to be just too much. So I just here and there a little bit, and especially soften the edges in the shaded area. In the shaded area, you actually don't see the edge very clearly. Yeah, see this strengthened color instantly pop out on the nose a lot better. So now he has a handsome nose, a handsome button nose. It's so cute. Same goes with the hand, because the hands are not a primary focal point. I don't want to make it to be. So I just really loose outlining and with less intense colors. Okay, so this is almost there. You can continue to paint. So for me, I'm just showing you I added a heart on my side. And you can add whatever you want. For me, I'm almost done here. So here is my finished little gnome.